Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday night, and it's another night full of the Paranormal Portal. And thank you so much to all of you who are joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being here and giving me a part of your weekend. That's a sacred thing, and it's a sacred trust that you're putting in me. And by God, I'm going to do everything I can to keep you entertained for 2 full hours. But I appreciate all of you guys coming in. Hope you're having a great weekend, whatever you're doing, however you're doing it. And we've got a lot of things to get to tonight, obviously. But by we, I just need you to know I'm not alone here. I am joined by the big branch of my personal family tree, himself, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing extremely well. I'm feeling good. Glad to be back. And just feeling good overall. honestly. It's good to be back. Good to see everyone here. Glad to be on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's good to have you back, too. It's been a while since you've been here on the Saturday night show, but I'm glad you're able to make it tonight. It's a whole boatload of paranormal got chopped up and ready to serve here on the portal, and we're going to probably start pretty soon. But, God, there was something I wanted to mention right up front, and I'm not remembering it. Just
Is it the voodoo doll?
No, actually, the doll that I was showing was a gift that was sent by Nessie from New Zealand. Nessie Monster.
Oh.
She made a little me. And
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. She also made one of Don and a whole set. I was talking about it last night on the show, but it was still sitting on my desk in front of me, so I was showing that. But I love when you guys send stuff. And one of the things that I want to put out there, I talked about it a little bit last night, but I want to talk about it a little bit now as well. And this is, I would love to see what kind of artwork you guys can whip up. You know, I got a lot of walls that aren't on screen around the studio here. And I was like, you know, what would be cool would be to have little mementos from all of you out there. Any of you that are creative, artistic, or not, I don't care. Just, you know, draw, paint, sculpt, whatever. If you've got something that you'd like to send in that would be hanging in my studio, I'd love to see it. And we can open them and do all that on the show. But I would just be real honored if you guys would do that. So what I will tell you is that the Paranormal Portal has a homepage, and it's called the URL for that is paranormalportal.net. And so if you go to paranormalportal.net, you'll see, well, this is what you'll see at first. And this is the home page. And above over here, there's a little off screen, is all the social media links and such. But if you go down, this is the timer for the live shows. And hey, we're doing one now, so it's at 0. It usually disappears, but I had it go open before the timer was gone. And down here, of course, if any of you want to be guests on the podcast and have stories to share, click this link and it'll bring you to the calendar app that I have to schedule a time we can connect. But down here is our P.O. box at the very bottom of the page. And so if you decide to make something, you want to send something in, you know, a Bigfoot something, Paranormal Portal something, a Don drawing, a Sheldon drawing, whatever, just send it to this P.O. box at the bottom of the screen, and I'll collect them over, you know, whenever they come in. If we get a few, then we'll do it right on show. We'll just open them and see what you guys sent. So again, that's at paranormalportal.net is where you can find that address. I'm also going to be introducing a blog on here on this page, this paranormalportal.net, that'll, you know, have I'll write up some things about different phenomena, some thoughts and such. And this will be continuing to expand, but this is just a skeleton form right now of just having a home base finally after all these years. So again, paranormalportal.net, send in your artwork. I'd love to see what you can draw. If you can draw me, fantastic. I'd like to see how you guys see me. Even if it's with crayons, stick figures, I don't care. It doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the ability. I'll hang it up here in the studio and it'll just warm my heart every day. So I wanted to put that out there, but we do have a P.O. box. If you ever want to send anything else, you find a haunted doll or you got a old Ouija board or something you want to get rid of, send it over. I'll take care of it. If I can't do it myself, I'll make sure to get it to people that can. So, you know, any objects like that, I'll give you the creeps. You know, I don't want a more haunted house than the one I already got, but, you know, it's just, you know, it's there. So if you guys want to use it, by all means, please do. But we got to get to some news. Sheldon, are you ready?
Oh, always.
He's always ready, folks. That's why he's here. He is the big branch. All right, let's do this news stuff. We are the most trusted news source in Paranormal Portal news. Or paranormal news, maybe. I don't know if we are or not, but that was an intro. Once again, special thanks to Wes Germer. He put that together. It's just brilliant. Even the rabid 70s adult music. It's like, I feel like Barry White is jumping in there anytime. But we got some news to go over tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So buckle up while I start reading you some of these fascinating stories that I've curated on your behalf. The objective of the Paranormal Portal news is that it's all, I think, interesting, and hopefully you find it entertaining, but at the very least, I hope you'll leave here knowing something you didn't know before, because I think that's pretty awesome. So we're going to go right away to the first article tonight on our News Festival of Fun, and this is coming, as always, from unexplained-mysteries.com. And I just want you to, definitely check out this site. I can't recommend them enough. It's just such a fantastic site. They do such a fantastic job. It's relevant. It's timely. I've read things on here that I haven't seen for days on other sites that I check for paranormal stuff. And it's just really amazing. Whoever this TK Randall is, they're working hard. I mean, They're really working hard, because they are the only person writing for this whole site, but they're doing just a hell of a job. So please check out unexplained-mysteries.com. The first story tonight: huge diversity of organic compounds found in Martian meteorite. So the argument continues, was there life on Mars? And I think there probably was. I think that, there was something going on Mars long before there was probably something going on here. And I don't know what happened, if they had some kind of global catastrophe on Mars that just wiped it out, or what the hell the story is. But some of those artifacts that those rovers point at sometimes are just like, wait a minute, that is just not making sense as a natural formation. So my vote is that there was stuff going on there. And I don't mean just plant and microbe life. I believe there was probably maybe some kind of complex society that had lived there at one point in our distant past. Hell, maybe it was us. Maybe it was where we were before we came here. I don't know. I have heard all those theories. I don't pretend to have any educated guess, but you be the judge. But it says a new study has revealed the presence of a wealth of organic compounds in a rock believed to have come from Mars. Known as the Tissant, sounds like a sneeze, Tissant meteorite, this intriguing space rock fell to Earth over Monaco back in July of 2011, an event that was even witnessed at the time by several people in the Kedra Valley area. Scientists now believe the rock was ejected from the surface of Mars by a violent impact that occurred between 700,000 and 1.1 million years ago. While fragments of the meteorite have been studied many times over the years, the most recent effort has revealed the presence of at least 5 different types of organic compounds, molecules, which are abundant in life on Earth and could suggest the possibility of life on Mars as well. Mars and the Earth share many aspects of their evolution, said study author Philippe Schmidt-Kaplan. And while life arose and thrived on our home planet, the question of whether it existed on Mars is a very hot research topic that requires deeper knowledge of our neighboring planet's water, organic molecules, and relative surfaces, or reactive surfaces. It is hoped that the findings, coupled with further research into this and other samples from Mars, will eventually enable scientists to learn whether there really was life on the red planet in its distant past. Understanding the process and sequence of events that shaped this rich organic bounty will reveal new details about Mars' habitability, potentially about the reactions that could lead to the formation of life, said study co-author Andrew Steele. Sounds like an author. And this book was brought to you by Andrew Steele. Doesn't it? It sounds like, what is that one Steele lady or Steele person? Writes all kinds of romance books or girl books, or girl books. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say. I don't novels. What is the Steele? There's some Steele person that's a famous author, but I can't remember the name to save my life right now. So, whatever the case, this one's a scientist. It's not an author. So interesting. Do you believe there was life on Mars? What do you think, Sheldon?
Oh, I think so. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
if they're finding organic material in Mars, then I mean, if there's cells, then there's even if it's just bacteria, there's technically life on Mars, and that it's habitable to some extent. And even with terraforming, it's possible it could be another Earth.
Oh, okay. It's Danielle Steele. People in the chat are letting me know.
Oh,
Sorry. Sorry. Danielle Steele. Got it. Thank you all. I appreciate that. That's why I love the chat. They just keep me correct. You guys keep me correct. I love it. So yeah, I think there was too. Let's get to the next article up on the news festival for the night. And this is one from actually Australia. This is pretty wild. I didn't know I didn't know these things got this big, but
oh no.
at least I don't think these try to kill you, which is nice for Australia because I think pretty much everything there can kill you to some degree or another. But this is from unexplained-mysteries.com, record-breaking Toadzilla captured in Queensland. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that pork
Whoa.
chop. Is that
Oh my God, he's ripped.
It's just huge. I mean, look at the size of that. It says wildlife officials in Australia have confirmed that this gargantuan cane toad is very much the real deal. Weighing in at an outrageous 2.7 kilograms, 6 times larger than the average cane toad, this monster amphibian was spotted by park ranger Kylie Gray, who had been out on patrol in Queensland. What does it eat? Bunnies? I've never seen anything so big, she said. It looked almost like a football with legs. We dubbed it Toadzilla. Toads are not native to Australia, but were introduced in the country back in 1935. They have since become a prolific nuisance and are now thought to number in the hundreds of millions. They also have no natural predators, enabling them to grow to very large sizes. Even by giant cane toad standards, however, this particular specimen is an absolute beast, easily exceeding the previous record holder, a 2.65 kilogram toad that was kept as a pet in Sweden. A cane toad that size will eat anything it can fit into its mouth. Look at that. Should we have a look at that? I'm going to show the video.
Yes.
Take off the sound. But
he's a chonker.
He is chonkers. That's true, man. That thing is enormous.
God.
What could it fit into its mouth? That's the curious part. I mean, that's a lot of mouth. I want to get
A
back.
bunny, even?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like a bunny, a goanna. I don't know all of the fauna down there, but I imagine. Look, it weighs 2.7 kilograms, nearly the weight of a what did it say? Newborn what?
Human baby.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, I just missed it again. Human baby. Oh my God, 5 pounds. Whoa, that's a hell of a lot. And I don't know, but maybe toads are like indeterminate. Like there's several other reptiles that are indeterminate, meaning they will just keep growing until they're done. But look at this. Look at that thing. That is
huge.
It is like a football with legs.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet you that's going to be in a zoo. There's no way they're letting that back out. Wow.
A record break like that, yeah, they're going to keep it safe.
That's crazy. That's a lot of toad. That was from the Telegraph that posted that video. So very impressive. I didn't realize toads could get that big. I know there's some big breeds, but even then, this is like National Enquirer kind of stuff, right?
Maggie says even that they're making their way here.
What? Here? Well, Maggie's in Australia.
Well, maybe they're just populating so that they're growing in size as far as area.
Yeah, they probably swim to the U.S. Jeez. Eating sharks on the way over gets to us, and it's literally a toadzilla. I don't know.
Oh, it said it was euthanized.
What?
Go back to the article. Does it say?
No, it didn't say that at all. It can eat anything that's fit into its mouth. There's no way they euthanized it. I'm sure they put it in a toad or in a zoo or something.
Oh, Justin said that they killed it too.
Really?
Apparently,
Wow.
Well, maybe if it's a nuisance, maybe that's
but that's a big nuisance. I mean, just because it was so big, how big could it get? That's the part that I'm wondering. It's like, and is this the biggest one out there? I mean,
it was on the screen of the video. Oh my God.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
Apparently.
I didn't see that part. Cane toad
Ooh, that's
waves.
too bad, actually.
I didn't see where it said it was euthanized. When it was here, the animal was taken away and euthanized. Yeah, it was. Oh, that's
Oh.
horrible. Why wouldn't they just keep it? Because it was the biggest one. I mean, I understand euthanizing the rest of them, but, especially if it's not a native species. But when you find the biggest one, wouldn't you just keep it just to see what happens? Is it going to get bigger? I mean, what if you feed it bunnies? Does it get way bigger?
Don't feed it bunnies.
I don't know, whatever it can eat. I mean, like if they are indeterminate and growing, I mean, you could maybe ride this thing to work.
And it would be eating humans.
No, well, that's true. It fits people in his mouth, then wouldn't it? Never mind. Euthanize it. Yeah. Kill it with fire. I don't know. That's really crazy. Wow.
Oh yeah, Colleen even said that would be great frog legs.
Oh yeah, but that's a toad. I don't know if toad legs are as delicious. I've had frog legs. I actually enjoy them. They're like chicken. I know it's cliche as hell, but
Yeah,
they really are kind of like chicken. It's not a whole lot different. But anyway, there you go. Toadzilla. Bet you didn't know that before today. You're welcome. All right, let's get to the next one, and this is I don't know if I want to read that one. Is this a long one? No, it's actually kind of short, but it's talking about other ways to possibly detect alien life and in space. And I think this one is kind of neat. It's also, I don't know. I don't know how they would do it, but let's check out the article from unexplained-mysteries.com. Can we detect the gravitational waves produced by alien ships? Ooh. From December 19th.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too. Okay, cool.
What do you mean? What? You were thinking
Gravitational waves because
you were thinking that?
Yes.
Oh
well, as far
God.
as like because apparently they use like gravity wells to pull their ship around is one
theory.
What was it? I watched the documentary on it.
Oh, Bob Lazar?
Yeah, Bob Lazar was saying that they use like small gravity wells to like propel their ship in different directions. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're apparently on the right track. You might be in the wrong line of work there, buddy. A team of physicists has put forward the idea of using the LIGO Observatory to look for gravitational waves from alien spaceships. Originally proposed by Albert Einstein as a consequence of his general relativity, gravitational waves are ripples in the fabric of space-time that carry energy across the universe. After years of struggling to pick up directional evidence of the phenomena, a team of researchers at Advanced Laser Interferometry, I don't know, interferometer. I don't know this. It's like somebody just spilled Scrabble squares all over the screen. Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO. They should just use LIGO. Screw the other stuff. Finally succeeded in detecting gravitational waves for the first time back in February of 2016. So impressive was this feat that the team behind the breakthrough, Rainer Weiss, Barry Barish, and Kip Thorne, earned themselves a Nobel Prize in Physics the following year. Good job, guys. Fast forward to the present day, and now a different team of physicists has published a new paper suggesting that LIGO's ability to detect gravitational waves could potentially enable us to pick up indications of alien vessels in deep space. Ooh. That said, for this to work, the ship would have to be truly massive, perhaps the size of Jupiter. Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah, okay. All right. Might have to go back to the drawing board a little bit here, guys. As well as moving very quickly and relatively close to us, within 326,000 light years. But what if our closest neighborhood extraterrestrial civilization happens to be using a warp drive or something similarly exotic to propel its ships through the interstellar void? According to the paper, such a propulsion system should, in theory at least, produce gravitational waves as well. In summary, then, if a warp-enabled Death Star ever ventures inside our galactic neighborhood, there's a small chance we might be able to pick it up. Well, good.
Jeez.
I guess we got that going for us. The size of Jupiter? Are you serious?
We're so behind. Oh my God.
I mean, that's bigger than our world by about, several hundred times, I think, right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not probably very likely. I mean, you hear stories of like Dyson spheres where perhaps alien technologies could encompass a star to harvest all of the energy the star produces. But they're not driving that star around space. It's just sitting there, if that is indeed the thing. So I don't know. They might need to get some more sensitive LIGO systems going, because I don't know if anybody's rolling around in a Jupiter-sized spacecraft. Even
That's
the
just
Death
not
Star was
practical.
just like a small moon, for God's sakes, you know.
Yeah.
And that was enormous. So come on, back to the sketchbook, boys. That's not going to fly. Thank you.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry,
That didn't deserve that.
I got the buttons. Anything I say can deserve that.
Oh, true.
When you get buttons of your own, you can decide what it deserves.
I can't wait.
Oh, I know. What do we got? 3 minutes? I guess we're going to go to the archives now. And
All right.
all right. Well, here's one. In case you were wondering, what is it about cats we can't avoid? Why are they so darn cute and cuddly, and we just can't keep our hands off them? Well, some of us anyway. Some people hate cats, but this might be an insight, because here's a cat registered as a hypnotherapist in October 13th, 2009. In a demonstration aimed at showing how lax hypnotherapist regulations are in the UK, a BBC presenter has been able to get his pet cat George registered with 3 industry bodies. The regulation of hypnotherapists in the UK is so lax that even a cat can become accredited, the BBC has found. Chris Jackson, presenter of Inside Out in the Northeast and Cumbria, registered pet George with 3 industry bodies. Well, maybe they are. Maybe he was hypnotized. Huh?
Oh, good point.
Yeah, you never know. He might have been already in thrall, as it were. So, I don't know. That's just sad. That's so tragic. Yeah, they might want to look at their licensing bodies a little closer.
Well, that wasn't 2009, though, to be fair.
Well, yeah, it was. That's true.
Maybe they've tightened it up since then.
That's not that long ago. I mean, that's literally like 12 years. So
yeah, that's a while. What do you mean?
It is a while, but it's not
it's half my life.
It's not like people were just riding horses then. I mean, it was, I mean, people had technology then. It wasn't like it was just, people were out tending to the crops in the back 40. So
I was 13. That's half my life. It's a long time for me. Okay.
All right.
I know
Whatever.
You're a little older. Okay.
All right. Whatever. All right. So, the next up from unexplained-mysteries.com, the last one we're going to get a chance to read. I guess you can sell anything online, Sheldon. Did you know that? Because here's a story from 2009 of a 10-year-old girl sells Gran on eBay. A 10-year-old schoolgirl who had grown tired of her grandmother's moaning put her up for sale on eBay, where she attracted bids exceeding $2,000 with the description, "very cuddly and likes word searches." A cheeky schoolgirl, tired of her grandmother's moaning, decided to sell the pensioner on eBay. Zoe Pemberton, 10, from Clacton in Essex, put her 61-year-old grandmother, who she described as rare and annoying and moaning a lot, up for sale on the auction website with no reserve price. You keep pissing and moaning, I'm going to put you on eBay. There you go. That might be a new parental warning for their children. Oh, dear God. Yeah, apparently you can do it. I don't think the sale ever went through, for the record, but you just never know.
No.
You just never know, folks. Just be careful. We're going to close out the news and head to break. So let's get back to the regular show. Oops. Got to do this first. All right, folks, we're going to go to the break. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Don't go away for more of the Paranormal Portal. So since we're on the network, we got to coordinate breaks. We'll be right back in just about 2.5 minutes. Don't go away. incoming. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It is Sheldon and I, and we are here to entertain you for the next hour and a half. It's going quickly already, huh, Sheldon?
Oh, God, it always does.
It does. Yep. And we want to do some shout outs. So if you want a shout out, make sure to type something in chat because, by God, we'd like to acknowledge your presence if you don't mind, if you're so inclined. Now, if you'd rather not, that's fine. Just kick back and listen and do your thing. We'll just keep doing our thing. But I just think it's fun to see new names and new people. So if that's fine with you, it's fine with me. So, yeah.
All right.
All right. So let's do some shout outs. See who's here.
All right. So for now, we have Bobby Younce. I believe I'm saying that right. If not, I apologize. We got Chucky Danger, John Stevenson, Alicia Hughes, Big
Chungus just came in.
I like the picture, Big Chungus. Well done.
Nice.
Much improved.
Well played.
We got John Stevenson, Just Info Arsonist, Jeff Mayer, K Love, Lily Pond, Maggie M10, you're here. Queen Robbie's here. Rachel Gets It Right is usually here. RB Mora is here. Sugar Britches, Tommy Cooper, and Steve Humphrey.
Very cool.
I
And
believe that is everyone.
John Temperine just came in too. Good to see you, John. Thanks for
John
coming
Temperine.
Hello to everybody. Thanks for coming in. And good to see you, Tommy Cooper. And Tommy Cooper, Mr. Golden V or 5 just came in. I don't know if that's a Roman numeral or V, but yeah, good to see you. Tommy Cooper, of course, is our wonderful friend from Cryptovania. Good to see you, brother. I'm glad you stopped in, and it's always a pleasure. And to all of you, great to see you. And
we got Terry Taylor, Ruby Para, Jules.
Did you say Jeff Mayer? Or Meyer, rather? Jeff Meyer just came in. So
I think so.
Okay.
I think maybe.
It's hard to say because they kind of pop up. It's like, wait, did we say that one? Did we not say that one?
I know.
It gets a little tricky on this. I just wish it would just populate with the people that are tuning in. That'd be really cool. But whatever the case, thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey. We do appreciate you. And if you're not already subscribed, get subscribed if you would, please. That would be wonderful. But we're going to get into a segment that I've been really enjoying a lot. And I don't pat myself on the back very much, but this is one of those things that I'm really glad we implemented it because it's really tied two of our communities together really nicely and made it more cohesive. I'd like to keep tying things together if I can figure out other ways to do that. But at least for now, we're talking, of course, about our Discord. And Sheldon, could you put a link up for that?
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll start our Discord question of the week. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Discord question of the week segment. And this is a way to tie in our Discord server of people that are there and chatting about all these fantastic paranormal and supernatural things, Fortean topics, etc. And this is our what we do is we pose a question to the group in our Discord server and say, hey, we'll ask a paranormal question, and everybody that wishes to weighs in on it with their ideas. And the thing I love about this is just quite simply, there's no right or wrong answers. That's, what Wes always says, and it's very true for all of this. We aren't experts. There are no experts. And if you ever hear that name get dropped in terms of ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, whatever, there are no experts. We can't study these things in a real scientific manner. If they appear, they appear. If we happen to see them, we see them. But we don't have the ability to study them. So without that ability, we really can't crown anybody an expert. There are some incredibly knowledgeable people, and I don't mean to disparage that. People that have studied like parapsychology and such that have a real grasp on techniques and philosophies and theories behind the stuff. Cryptozoologists as well are wonderful and have provided lots of great information via books and stuff. But everybody's opinion is just as valid as everyone else's. So what we do is, just go through these submissions from you guys and just listen to what you have to say. And I got to tell you, and this is a sincere compliment to everybody that's been taking part in this, is that you guys have really helped me to look at all of these phenomena that we've talked about and question about in the group in a very different way. You guys have brought ideas to the table that I'd never considered. You guys have brought, theories and possibilities that my head would have never come to. So I really appreciate that. It's been an awesome experience for me. So a sincere thank you to everybody that's been participating in these, because it really does make it just extraordinary. So, Sheldon, I'm going to put it up on screen, but you want to read this?
Absolutely. So the question for today is, there is a pretty wide spectrum of extraterrestrial abduction. Some report these incredibly profound and beautiful experiences, and others report terrifying and painful accounts that are extraordinarily negative. Why do you think these reports are so polarized from each other, with some being wonderful and positive, and yet others are nightmarish and horrible? So our first responder is Maggie M10, saying, purely speculating, there could be many factors seemingly at play. Firstly, it could be due to the human's perception of things in general. Someone who's fearful, I would think, is likely to interpret encounters as scary. Someone with strong boundaries and high need for justice, I would think, could interpret any experiments as gross violation of their rights, etc. Someone who is able to overcome fear and maybe hear and be open to understanding any explanations because they are not panicking may find their experiences much better. The other thing that jumps out is maybe they're not the same species taking people. It may account for the vastly different reports. Maybe some take the time to ensure comfort and well-being and others don't. It could even be different personalities, if there are such a thing for them, between the same species. Much like employment for humans. True, yeah. Very true.
That's true, yeah.
One workplace can be a dream to work in, another doing exactly the same work is a nightmare, purely because of the personalities within the organization.
Good point.
Oh my God, Maggie, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's so very true.
Yeah, great points. Fantastic.
Other responder, Buzzacino. I think it's perception and places. Some people fear to see horror, where others have seen their whole lives and don't fear and see things for how they are. Places can have different energies, and some people are more sensitive than others. So they react when affected by these energies to different extents. And if aliens are real, then there may be different aliens using different energies.
Good point.
Kind of goes back to what Maggie was saying of like maybe different alien species type of thing. That's good. Yep, true.
Excellent.
Chucky Danger says, I think it could be possible that angels and demons could be what we perceive as aliens. Angels used to simply mean passenger or messenger. Perhaps, perhaps demons are fallen race of these messengers, such as the Greys and reptilians. It was a serpent being that caused the fall of man in the garden. Oh, yeah. Elijah was taken away in a flaming chariot from God. What if that was a UFO? That's true, because we didn't... maybe all these tales could be related. I could be very wrong, but it may be a possibility.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a really good point, Chucky. That's actually a really good point. As far as our perception of things back then, when we were writing these stories. That's a good point.
Yep.
Inner Underbelly says, the heinous abduction stories are mostly human... I forgot the word.
The replacement word. Yeah, let's keep it. Please try to keep the language nice on these, if you would, please. We have all ages of people that are a part of the show, so let's
shenanigans. Human shenanigans. There we go. Yeah. Black Project's the off-planet threat narrative. It's key to keep the fire stoked in that context. Then there are actual indifferent/malevolent people, likely from here, as well as multidimensional and interstellar. They'll do what they will, just as we do to the baser critters we pluck up and out of their common spheres of perception.
Sure.
Imagine the stories our endangered fauna have. Literally everyone is pursued, then wake up with hours missing from the day full of needle pricks and tracking devices. sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
that's a great point. Yeah.
Oh, that's a very good point. I mean, it's the same thing, just a different scale.
Yep.
Oh, that's a really good point. I mean, honestly, I would agree with all of these in a certain extent. That could be multidimensional creatures, could be different species of alien,
Sure.
could be. I mean, maybe it's just a collective of different species, whatnot. It's just a matter of who's at the head of the ship, type of thing. Who's the head of the project or whatnot, depending on the experience, how they treat the human abductee, type of thing.
Right.
I agree with all of that. Absolutely. What do you think, Dad?
Well, I think we got to finish reading first, but it says, what was the question? Oh, yeah, and the profound revelatory stories of what happens when there's a sense of morality instilled in people just doing their work. I believe in a prime directive and ascension. So those are all great points. Now, the reason that I actually posed this question is because this is something that occurred to me after I interviewed the gentleman that'll be appearing on Monday's podcast. He's an abductee, and he's had horrible experiences throughout his whole life. And I hope you guys will listen and tune into it, but it made me think, why do some people talk about these incredible experiences and actually hoping they'll come back? You know, I mean, there's many people that have had these alleged abductions where they're like, oh, it was so wonderful and peaceful and joyous, and I was so honored, and I just can't wait for them to come back. And then you have the other side of the spectrum where gentlemen like the person I talked to, where it's like, it has scarred his entire life. And it was just incredibly profound and sad. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll hear it. He actually starts breaking down at one point, and I felt, you know, it really, as a listener and a person that I try to have empathy a lot, and I couldn't help but just feel this man's pain as he's telling these stories. An incredibly articulate man, very professional, very well accomplished in life, but he had been tormented by these events throughout his life. And, you know, it just made me think, why do some people have these beautiful experiences, and why do others have this? And the points you guys raised, I think, are incredibly profound, because very well could be different kind of experiences, because it's being conducted by different kind of beings with a different outlook on what we represent. Are we literally the ants on the anthill? And these are such profoundly advanced races that they just kind of discard us, like as was stated, you know, with the tagging of animals. It's like, yeah, I mean, maybe they look at us a lot the same way. Maybe we're just a more complex general organism on the face of this planet that they're studying. And maybe it's just a dismissal, like, let's trank that one and tag it and see what it does. And implants are common with abductees. Generational abductions are common, where it follows family lines, as if they were absolutely researching the genetic trail of these people. And it's just a profoundly confusing thing. But I think what bothers me the most about the phenomena is that these people don't ask for this at all. And I put together a special intro for the show, for the podcast, that I kind of go into some thoughts about it. And, you know, a lot of these people are absolutely tormented, especially the ones that have the negative experiences. They are so tormented. They're so alone. They're so isolated, because who do you tell? Who do you try to explain this to? And it just got me thinking. And so that's why I asked this question, because what do you guys think? Why is this? Why are there so polar opposite experiences? They're both being conducted by these advanced intelligence, but they are such different experiences. And why is that? I love your guys' response. I think you're all onto something incredible. And every one of those responses was incredibly profound. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing here. I don't know why they're here, or what they're after, or what I've heard all the theories. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like uneducated about it. I just can't conceptualize how come they dismiss us and our sovereignty so freely. Do they have agreements like the Greada treaties that Don talks about with the Eisenhower administration, where there was an agreement made for advanced technology they could test people? And is there just a dismissal, like we are, these basically the monkeys in the trees to them, because we are so archaic and unsophisticated in their eyes? And I don't know, but it does trouble me that people have those experiences and they're absolutely powerless to do anything about it except live these tormented lives, and seeing relationships fall apart, seeing, their self-esteem crumble because they're just not in control of these situations. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's go ahead.
Rachel even says maybe those are part of the experiments. The aliens are deliberately triggering the fear part of the brain for a certain part of the population.
Maybe. I mean, could it be? I mean, we're just one big Schroeder's bucket of bucket of monkeys. Who knows? Schrodinger or whatever. I mean, obviously, Schrodinger was a thought experiment, but, are we just these test tube critters that they just want to poke and see what we do? How do we respond to these different stimuli? Maybe that it could be just that simple. That, I don't know. Yeah, it's just incredibly profound. But I hope you guys check out the episode on Monday when that releases. That'll be, again, the podcast is an audio only thing, and so I hope you guys will check it out. It was an incredible interview. The guy was. His stories are just, I've never heard anything like it. And my heart goes out to him so much because of what he has endured. And, even though it seems to have slowed down in his later years, he's still a very tormented man because of it. But again, a wonderful guy, very articulate, very professional. He's, like I said, he achieved many wonderful things in his life, and it wasn't, like he said, the only thing I could do was throw myself into my work. That was the only thing I had. So that's about as much as I'm going to talk about it before it releases, but I hope you guys will check it out and listen in and let me know what you think of the episode. It was, I was very honored that he decided to reach out to me and to come on the show. And I'm really looking forward to people hearing his story, because it's really very incredible. So,
RB Mora asks, what time?
What time? Well, the podcast is an audio only format, so it's not a YouTube thing at all. You won't see it on YouTube. You will only hear it if you go to iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, Castbox, Stitcher, Podbean, any of the platforms that carry podcasts. So that's where you'll find the Paranormal Portal podcast. So please check it out. Please, if you if you enjoy the shows and you have the ability on the platform you're listening, I would be honored if you'd leave a great review, but only honest. I don't want people to go out of their way to leave good reviews if they don't really enjoy the show. But, it gives you the opportunity to do that. There's one other thing that I wanted to show while we were here, because I've often talked through many interviews that I've done about my UFO experience. And I just today found a short on, let's see, is this the one? I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. I found a YouTube short of somebody that filmed in Mexico a UFO that looks very, very similar to what I saw. And I haven't seen anything like this before, so I was really excited to put it out there. But I put it in the UFO thread on the Discord channel, and I think I also put it on the Paranormal Portal Radio Facebook page. But I wanted to show you guys this because it is really pretty incredible that it's very, very close to what I saw. Let me make it a little bit bigger here. I don't know if it really can make it much bigger because these shorts are so small. Let's do this. That's very close to what I saw. Now, the only difference being that what I saw was only visible through infrared. I couldn't see that with my naked eye. It didn't exist in the sky when I saw it without the help of the night vision binoculars. So what I saw was not visible with my unaided eye, but when I put up the binoculars, it was there. When I'd lower it, it was gone. Up, there was there. Lowered, it was gone. But it looked very, very, very much like that. So I was like, wow, that's what I saw. It was not quite at that much of an underneath angle. It was more. I wasn't like right under it when I saw it, but it was more off at a distance a bit, and I saw more of the profile, but I did see the underside of it. So I just wanted to show that because I've been trying to explain it for years. What did I see? How do I help people understand what I saw? Well, that's pretty much what I saw. Those are the marquee lights going around that I saw. Like there was a space between the two, the upper and the bottom. And it wasn't just a point. It had a gap. And that's where those lights were flashing around in. So I was like, wow. Now, I don't know if that's legitimate. I don't know. I have no idea. But that is a really good representation of what I saw. So anyway, that was my experience. Mine, Chucky says, mine had a light display on the bottom shaped like an upside down triangle. Yeah, I didn't see that much of the bottom of the one that I saw, Chucky, so maybe. I did see one fly over when I was out with the night vision binoculars again, years later in this location. I was out back and I saw a saucer kind of thing go over, and the bottom looked like pizza slices. Like, if you sliced a pizza, like that. And it was, I could see like those, I don't know if they were raised panels or if they were actually gaps, but it was like a pizza going overhead. And I could see that, but I had the night vision binoculars again, and they were only 4-power binoculars, but I just wanted to share that with you guys because that's the first time I've been able to say, this is pretty much what I saw, and that to me was very exciting because otherwise I've been verbally trying to share with people, what did it look like? How do I best explain this? And so that was it. And the puzzling part was in night vision, it was flashing lights. It had the marquee lights going around the edge, and it had other blinky lights. But when I lowered the binoculars, the night vision binoculars, it was just night sky, which blows my mind because it was emitting light in the infrared binoculars, but with my naked eyes, it was just stars. So very wild.
Oh.
So that's a representation to show you what I saw. But thank you all for, all your patience, all your participation in the Discord question of the week. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys will keep watching for those. So the idea is before every live show, there will be a question of the week, and it's right in the question of the week thread on the Discord. And just watch for it before every live show. If you can, take a minute, let me know what you think. And I'd love to share it on the live shows as well. So I guess that's it for the question of the week. All right, there we go. That was a pretty good one, huh, Sheldon?
Oh, that was an excellent one.
I really think that is just a fun segment. I love doing it. We're down to about 2 minutes before the break. God. I know, again, boom, it's like, wow, it's time. I really hope you guys will check out Monday's podcast. If you're not already a podcast listener, it's another great way to help support what we're doing here. It's our podcast is a much bigger show than the YouTube show. It's a much bigger show. There's lots more people tuning in to the podcast than there are that come to the YouTube channel. So it's just, I'm excuse me, I'm just really excited about it. And this is one of those episodes. Every time I release an episode, I'm excited about it. But this is a rare opportunity to talk to somebody that has had a lifetime of this experience. And I'm fully on board with what this guy says. I just found him to be incredibly honest and forthcoming with his story, and it was emotional, it was impactful, and these people I think, generally live in silence. They don't share it because how do you share it with the world? How do you make people understand? But he chose to. And so I do feel very honored that he chose to do that. And especially on the Paranormal Portal, it's just an incredible show. So I hope you guys check it out. I hope you enjoy it. And we're going to go to the hour break. And again, we are not only broadcasting on YouTube where you're watching, if you're watching, we're also broadcasting on TFR Live, which is being simulcast on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Network, and TalkStream. So we have to take breaks to stay in sync with the network. So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes, about 3 minutes. Don't go away. More to come. We got another full hour. Don't go anywhere.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Amen, Tommy. Tommy says we got the same taste in music. I hear you, brother. Yeah, we're all busy though. Everybody's busy, but yeah, I think I spend a lot of time working on these shows and working on doing a better job of these shows because I really feel that I want those people that take the time to watch it to feel like they really that I brought it, like they showed up and it was worth it. And so, I love when I can write and record music as well. And I all the music you're hearing is on the show is stuff that I've written, but I just don't have the time, because I'm going so many different directions with the podcast, with the YouTube shows, with keeping up with the business side of things as much as I can. And trying to increase the awareness of the shows. But yeah, I love writing. I love doing that part of it too. I find for me, music is really therapeutic. Oh, narrating stuff too. Yeah, that's true. I don't do a lot of narrating, but I love doing that as well. That's been a lot of fun. So maybe I'm busier than I thought. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. That's nice. I'm just really thrilled. Again, I got to repeat this because I just don't want anyone to think, well, it's just an ego play. He's got a show and he's trying to push his music too. I didn't use my music at all when I first started the Paranormal Portal, except for the theme song of the opening, not the one that plays now, but the old one called Feline. But it was because I couldn't use other people's music because of copyright issues. I mean, I used to play a lot of different music before I was monetized. And once I got monetized, I was like, I got to use music. And YouTube started saying, hey, you can't do this. This is a copyright infringement. And so it was before they really issued hard strikes. But I was like, well, I got to do something else. And the only music that I knew I could use was stuff that I'd written. So I just did all the music. But yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of the business, I guess. But again, I hope people don't think that it was just me trying to, flex, because it really wasn't. It was just the only opportunity I had. So, but I'm really thrilled that you guys have been really complimentary and accepting about it. I get the occasional garbage message like, yeah, I like the show, but that song sucks, and that cracks me up. But, we have different tastes. Everybody has different tastes. So it's not going to appeal to everybody, but, let's see. Oh, yeah. We got more paranormal to do, right, Sheldon? Sheldon, you're muted, by the way.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, here I am. Yes, I agree. Let's continue.
I like that I'm not the only one making mistakes. I do about a good mistake or two every night, but it's nice to know that I'm in good company and that we can, it happens, but we have fun with it. So,
like father, like son.
Hey, the apple didn't fall at all far from that tree, did it? Mr. Big Branch. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sugar Britches. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So we got a lot more to get to. We got second hours right now where you're starting. So I suppose we should probably do that, huh, Sheldon?
I agree 100%.
Well, good, because not like it would matter if you didn't. Just joking.
Yeah, all
just
right.
Kidding, just
anyway.
kidding. All right, we're going to go to another one of the aggregate articles that we read here on the show. I found one. I've had it forever because it took a long time to get through that last one. It was like 68 different items on there. But I found another one. It's from myhealthgazette.com. And this is written or put together, compiled by Aaron Reed. And I don't know the date, though. There's no date on it, so I don't know how long it's been out there. But I love these aggregated articles because I just think that they deliver a lot of really cool stories, even though they're really out of context. You don't have any background on any of them. People just saying, "Oh, I saw this once," and that's it. So there's no background on it. You don't know anything more than what they share, but they're still really incredible experiences. So again, this is coming from myhealthgazette.com, and these are a trip to the unknown, people's paranormal encounters that made us question everything we thought we knew. So what better place to talk about this article than right here on the show? The first one up is Baffling Bigfoot. It says, about 10 years ago, my family and I were up in the White Mountains of Arizona to cut down our Christmas tree. We're driving along a forest road, and all of a sudden, my dog starts barking and growling. So I looked to see what it is, thinking it's maybe a bear, but what I saw was a tall, dark figure walking parallel to the road about 60 to 70 yards away. Well, I yelled at my dad to stop the truck, and when I told him, I think I see Bigfoot, he just laughed and continued to drive.
Oh, God.
Silly kids. Seeing Bigfoot. Well, I mean, if it's winter time, you're probably not going to see a bear. But it is in Arizona, so maybe bears, if they're in Arizona, don't hibernate. I don't know. I guess I never thought about that. Maybe it doesn't get cold enough for them to hibernate. Do you know anything about that, Sheldon?
About bears hibernating?
Yeah, like in Arizona. Do you have any input on that?
I have none. I don't know. I know bears hibernate, but I don't know about Arizona.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Well, thanks. Glad you can make it. Well, it is interesting, though. But yeah, generally bears don't walk upright. They walk on all fours, and they go upright. If they're sensing something or if they're, nervous about something, they'll go up and rear up. And I think it's both posturing and it's probably just to get a better vantage point to look around them. But yeah, they don't usually travel that way. There's only one time that I saw a bear that was bipedal, and that was some bear, I think it was in New England somewhere, had something injured with its front paws. Both of his front paws, maybe got in a trap or something or got away, but the front paws were pretty much unusable. So it would literally get up on its back legs and walk. And it walked in a really peculiar fashion because it was almost wobbly. But it was really good at getting around that way. But it was always bipedal, which was very interesting. I didn't know if they could do that. But then we just covered a story not too long ago about a fox that was bipedal that had two injured paws as well. So It's amazing that animals adapt as well as they do. I think that's fascinating. But generally speaking, I don't think it's as easy. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't have any experience. I've only seen a real bear once in my life, and it was up here, just a black bear that was on the side of the road, and I drove right by it, and it was looking at me, and I was looking at it, and I took a picture and put it up on Instagram. But I mean, it didn't look anything like a person. I had no trouble identifying. It was broad daylight. But if you look at silhouettes of a bear, I mean, there's very clear indicators that it's a bear. They got little stubby legs. I mean, they can get way up there because they're just all torso, but they don't have shoulders. Generally speaking, there's no shoulders. It's just a head straight line down to feet, with some arms in the way. But other than that, they're not real hard to differentiate. And of course, the ears, the perky ears, But people see.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Just the whole bear argument, thing, oh, you sure it wasn't a bear? It's like, come on. At this point, it's so old. It's like, especially if you're talking to an adult.
Right.
I think we're all smart enough to know, even a silhouette, the differences between bear and something that's not a bear.
Right.
It's just so silly to me. It's like, come on.
I mean,
have a little faith.
Mistaking a Bigfoot for a human being makes perfect sense, and vice versa. Mistaking a human being for Bigfoot, I mean, that makes sense because the silhouettes are very similar. But A bear is pretty unique. Well, other than the size, obviously.
Okay,
and
yes,
the brawn.
yes, all right.
Chucky Danger says, saw a bear brawl in the woods one time, 3 fighting at once. I just pulled over to water the bushes. They were down in the outback.
Oh God, I've seen video of bears fighting too, and it's terrifying. Like how much power they have with each swing and each movement when they're getting aggressive with another bear. It's actually like I've seen videos of some people walking up to bears, and it's like that video rings in my head every time. Like, are you insane?
Oh, I know. It's like the people that think they're going to pet buffalo in Yellowstone. It's like, no. You're going to get trampled. You're going to get thrown. You're going to get hurt. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's continue on and go to the next one. Now that we've talked about bears and Bigfoot, this one is Spooky Satellite. I was camping in the Rockies and was stargazing and spotting satellites. Well, I found a satellite and tracked it for a while. Eventually, it halted and switched directions. No one believes me, but I saw it. No, I wasn't high or drunk or tripping. It was a very clear night, and I was sober. Maybe there's another explanation, but that night, it was an unidentifiable flying object to me. Yeah, and actually, UFO just is unidentified. It means you don't know what the hell it is. It doesn't mean it's little green men. It doesn't mean it's, aliens, extraterrestrials. It just means that's not a plane. It's not a helicopter or a balloon. I don't know what it is. And, I think the number of sightings, of course, is on the rise, but I think that is manyfold reasoning because I think people are more willing to discuss this stuff now than ever before because you won't be the tinfoil hatted, weirdo in the corner while everybody whispers, hey, did you hear what Joe saw? People are more willing to entertain the ideas, especially in our modern age with tic-tac videos and such and serious governmental inquiry, or I can't say that, at least serious inquiry by some scientific bodies into this phenomena. So it's finally getting more traction and it's not such a fringe thing. Next.
Yeah, I feel terrible for people that have experienced these supernatural type of thing or paranormal, I should say, type of things. Mm-hmm. Especially when they didn't grow, when they lived in a much earlier time, when it happened in a much earlier time, because, most of the time they were seen as insane. And imagine going through such, especially abductees. If you're abducted, actually abducted, and it was a terrifying experience for you, having to stay quiet and everybody else thinking you're insane for it.
Yeah.
Must have been such a horrible experience. I feel so bad for those people.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Because they don't ask for them. They don't ask for these experiences. They don't even know that they're happening until it's happening. And even then they're powerless and helpless. And it's gotta be just a horrifying experience. Yeah. At least in those negative ones. I don't know about the positive ones. I'm glad some people have positive experiences because I do believe I think perspective has some of the people that responded to the question of the week. That was a good point. Some people process things more openly than other people. Some people are just so in their paradigm that if anything shakes them out, they're just frantic, and the same thing with ghosts. It's like some people see a ghost and go, wow, I just saw a ghost. And other people go, they're real. How do you process this? And they just break down, So there is merit to that. And that's why I love that question of the week thing. It's just, I love people bringing their ideas to the table. It just helps so much. Next one up is freaky floating. I remember floating through the dining room on multiple occasions on my way to the kitchen. I would scream for my mom, but she wouldn't hear. I would then wake up to my mom carrying me upstairs because she would find me sleeping on the dining room floor in the same spot behind the table. I was never freaked out until I learned the first owners killed themselves and their young son, who also had red hair, and his body was found in the same spot. Ooh, that's a lot of dark. Oh, that gave me chills. It's like, and again, I don't know that this story is absolutely true. It's supposed to be, but I don't know that it is. But if it is really a legitimate phenomenon this person experienced, I don't know if they were out of body or if they were, she said they said they were found in this one position outside of their bed. So they must have been floating, I guess. That's pretty creepy. Now, I've heard stories, people being about to fall down the stairs and something catches them. I heard stories from children. They were children at the time. They were, falling down the stairs. Somebody pushed them in like a joke, and they really fell and were going to get really hurt, but something caught them and landed them very softly. I've heard several of those stories. So, I mean, there's benevolent things like that, I guess, but there's also horrifying things like that. This one's Deadly Desert. It says, I've read some very creepy stories from deployed men in Afghanistan. One of my students, I used to teach college courses, told me that he was on fire watch and saw a man approaching base from the empty desert. He yelled at him to stop. The man bent backwards and started to dislocate all of his joints and crawl towards them. They raised their weapons and the thing evaporated. Oof. That's a lot of creepy.
I will admit, we have read a story. We read a story that had to do with either Iraq or Afghanistan. It was in a cave.
What? I don't remember the specific story that you're talking about, but I don't doubt it.
I don't know. I remember we read another story that was in Afghanistan or Iraq too, and God, there's. And now this story comes up. It's like, ooh, geez.
Yeah, there was actually several stories that I've covered through the years that came from like Iraq and Afghanistan of a lot of weird stuff like that. Even like insect-like beings that are about the size of people roaming through the desert and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. Again,
there's stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know if all of those are absolutely legitimate or just creative writing. I don't know. Is it possible? Sure. I'm going to disconnect the network because that hissing's driving me crazy.
Yeah, I hear it too.
I'm going to reconnect it right now. So we'll see if that clears it up. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Should be reconnected now on the network. So hopefully we won't have that. Or it's still reconnecting. I don't know. We might be done with breaks if that doesn't reconnect. That's been I've been hesitant to do that, but I haven't had the noise artifacts. But tonight it's hissy. And we can't have that because nobody wants to listen to waves in the background intermittently. It's still sitting and spinning. Dang it.
Uh-oh.
Might have just lost the network. But sorry. I better message Bam. Bam's over there and Gemini's over there. Sorry. Might have lost the network for the night. Sad face. It's still trying to connect. I don't know if it's going to or not, but we'll just let that spin as we continue on, but we may not have to take the last break, which would be good because having a dead run at the last part of the show would be kind of nice. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's not wanting to reconnect. So let's get back to the article here. Lots of weirdness in the desert.
So my question would be what, assuming that story is true, the one in Afghanistan, what would that be? Like a specter kind of thing or what?
In the Middle East, especially, they talk of jinn. Jinn are these sometimes even benevolent, but usually kind of malevolent or at least trickster kind of entities that are sometimes shaped. They'll appear as different things, or shadows, other figures they'll impersonate, make doppelgangers of people. There's a whole bunch of jinn stories out there. I mean, they're not as many as like normal ghost stories, but they seem to be some type of supernatural, spiritual being that messes with people. So I don't know. I don't know to what end. Now, the jinn historically were supposedly created by God or Allah before people. And they were made from the blue fire was the story of the jinn. And then they were, I think, even before the angels, to be honest with you. So there's some kind of supernatural being that's been around forever, but they don't seem real fond of people. And it's basically what the genie legend is based on. The genie in the lamp, the captured genies that give you wishes. Well, it's the same concept of these supernatural beings. And generally speaking, they're not real fond of people, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So they're basically the Islamic version of demons in a lot of way, that it's the jinn instead of a demon.
Oh.
So, yep. So anyway, let's get to the next one. Horrific hole is next. I was hiking. Oh dear God, look at that word. In Goschenen, in Switzerland, when I was a kid, along with my parents, we found several half-hidden holes the size of basketballs. The holes were completely dark, so we decided to start throwing stuff inside just to see how deep it was. We couldn't actually hear the noise of the stones falling down, but after throwing stuff inside, we suddenly heard a voice from inside the hole clearly yell stuff in some weird language that we couldn't understand. Oh, could it be trolls? Could it be gnomes? Could it be something else? Goblins, perhaps. I don't know. Of course, there's legends of many of those things in Switzerland, so maybe there's some merit to it, that they were little underground beings of some kind. Gnomes, perhaps, yeah. All right, here's the next one, the triangle. It says, was on a conventional fishing boat, or commercial rather, fishing boat. Us and another boat saw this thing, a UFO, 10 feet above my head, silent, three lights, triangle pattern, size of a car maybe, brightest lights ever that left no light on the deck of the boat, but was blinding looking up at it. The UFO followed us for 20 seconds, and then it literally vanished in the blink of an eye. Now, getting back to my story.
That'd be so creepy.
Okay, so a lot of people assume that when they just vanish, boom, they're gone. UFOs just go, they're gone. A lot of people make an assumption that they took off at such terrific speed that they just couldn't even be seen, like a bullet suddenly being, fired from a gun. And I don't know that that's the case. I think certainly they can travel extraordinary speeds. There's no question that goes well beyond our capabilities. But what I wonder is that when they go into like a cloaking mode, where you could only see them if you had infrared or some other spectrum of light than what we normally see. Perhaps they can hit a button and then boom, they vanish. But they're maybe still right there. You just can't observe them anymore. So when I hear stories like this, I'm like, yeah, but are they really gone? Or are they just hiding? And that's the curious part.
Yeah, like they just turn on the cloaking device right there. It's not necessarily that they traveled at the speed of light right there. It's just that they're looking at us. All right,
I guess they see us. I wonder, we got the lights on. Hit the button,
Yeah.
Gornak, I told you to shut off the lights. Gornak, I just made that up. I don't know.
Actually.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is green light. It says, I was about 6 years old, and I'd woken up in the middle of the night. We had stairs that went directly down to our kitchen from the second floor. Well, anyway, when I passed the stairs, I saw this tall, green silhouette standing next to the fridge. It turned around and looked at me and came bolting up the stairs, ended up running into my parents' room and jumping into their bed. Never ran so fast in my life. Again, these are the weird experiences. Was there other things going on? We don't know. Was there a history in this house? We don't know. But suddenly there's this glowing green apparition of a person, and it knows it's been seen, turns around and runs right up the stairs. That would be horrible.
Can't see it, by the way.
Oh, do I? Yeah, I guess not. I mean, it's just their rendition of it, but it's not the actual figure. But yeah, that's creepy. One of the things that I'd never experienced, thank God, and I hope I never do, and it's something I've seen a few times on Ghost Investigations videos, not in person, but it's the phenomena where like somebody's standing on a stairwell and they hear footsteps, and suddenly these footsteps start running up the stairs or down the stairs towards the people who can see nothing.
Oh no!
And I think, oh my. No. What a mind screw that would be, right? Because you can hear something coming right for you, but you have no idea what it is or what it looks like or what it's going to do. And generally it's just a noise. I mean, these people aren't getting knocked down generally. But or you know, you hear the footsteps coming and then it starts running right down the hallway at you, but you can't see it. It's like, oh my God, what a mind screw, you know?
That's terrifying to me.
I think that would be horrible. I think that would just, I don't know. I might stroke out right there. Like, "Nyeh." I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't want to experience that. That's just so mischievous, at least.
Oh God.
You know?
Yeah. When I was a kid, I mean, that brings back an old memory of mine. When I was a kid, a lot of stuff happened to me in this house, but, when I was living with my mother at the time, I would hear that in her house, like at the middle of the night, something coming up the stairs, then walking down the hallway to my door, and my door would be open. I'd see nothing. It terrified me. Everyone would be asleep at this point. Oh God.
I don't remember you telling me about that.
You don't remember that?
I don't. That's weird.
Oh.
Okay. I'm sure you must have. I mean, you know, we've had so many talks about this stuff through the years, but wow. Yeah, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
we did. I think I remember it now, and I thought maybe it was your grandpa coming to look at you. You know?
Oh.
Yeah, I think I recall that now. And as we talked, I recall saying that, you know, it's probably your grandpa, you know, coming to check on you.
Oh, could be.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was when you were much littler, though, right?
Oh yeah, I was very young.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yep, it's all coming back to me little by little.
Yeah,
Oh.
it didn't feel very reassured though. I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me check this because Gemini says it sounds like we're back on it. No, I don't have it up at all. So I don't know. Are you double dipping, Gemini? Can you hear both from the YouTube and TFR? Because
could be.
yeah, I'm literally not connected to TFR anymore. I can try one more time, but I don't know.
Here's paranormal right there.
Well, it's the break.
She's
over
not.
there. It's break time over there on the network, but
Oh yeah, true.
that's weird. That's weird. Weird. I don't know what's going on. But we're just going to finish out the show without doing the network thing because I don't want to. And even now there'd be such a gap. But yeah, we're not connected. So where are we at? Let's do one more and then we'll go into some cryptids because we got to have our cryptid corner. Let's do this.
Opal Demetria says, I've had something run at me outside I couldn't see. Leaves were kicking up as it got closer, and I took off. Thinking back on it, it was small, like a porcelain doll small.
Wow, that's creepy.
That's terrifying.
That could be
That's
could be a little person though, you know. It could be like a gnome kind of thing or something. Yeah, could be. So Maggie says, "Is there anything about stairs that make them so creepy?" I don't know if there is like in a supernatural sense, if there's anything specifically about stairs, but I don't know. I mean, it's just there always seems to be the whole coming up the stairs thing, but I think in those situations, it's, you know, they're just following the path, and that's the path, the stairs, and it might be in many cases residual. It might not be though. It might be intelligent. You know, as you were saying, Sheldon, in your experience, it came up the stairs and walked down the hall. You could hear it, and then it would stop at your door and just stop, and that was it.
Yeah, no other. It wasn't like I heard a walk away eventually, where it was just to my door, and that was it. I never heard anything else, and that terrified me because that meant that it was
Right there
in my
watching.
doorway staring at me, and it was I couldn't go to sleep for like hours at that point.
And who could blame you? Yeah, I mean, who could blame you? That is even if it is a loved one, that's a pretty creepy way of going about it. They could just be a warm presence next to you and you feel comfortable and not do the whole creepy approach thing. But
yeah, I prefer that. Mhm.
yeah, well, you were young. I was just trying to make you comfortable.
Yeah.
Sorry. Creepy cult is next. I'm going to just do one more since I started it. And then we'll get to the
right.
to the cryptids. I was coming back home from a trip to from Michigan, and I saw these people wearing cult-like robes while I was driving through the highway. Just people. Oh, that is weird. I don't know if this is a photo. Maybe it's the photo. I don't know. Looks like somebody's photo of some white cloaked people, but Well, could be statues.
Those are statues.
Yeah.
Those are statues.
Yeah, I guess it's probably statues, but who knows? Who
Well,
knows?
if they were white robes, it doesn't sound like it was a good kind of meeting.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't really do the, well, black means evil, white means good kind of thing, because I think that's just a carryover from our old, Westerns, and, in the black and white TV days, you could always tell the good guys wore white, the bad guys wore black. And that still sticks with us. Like, and it's, I guess, kind of old as time, but the ancient Druids used to say that white was kind of a benign color, but, the more profound color was black, because it was the combination of all the colors, whereas white was considered just white to the ancient Druids. I'm just saying.
Did my statement go right over your head?
What did you say?
I said, like, if there's a cult of people wearing white robes, it's probably not a good meeting.
Oh, yeah, it did. Went right over.
Oh, my God.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all. You're right. I will give you that one. That's always a bad thing. That's horrible. But anyway, let's go to some cryptids, folks, because I know we got a lot of people that listen to the shows that like to talk about cryptids. And by golly, Phantoms and Monsters is not going to let us down. So again, support phantomsandmonsters.com, Lon Strickler's site. He's a friend of the show. He's a prolific author, written many books on the Fortean and topics. He does research with several other people in cooperation with him all over the nation, and probably abroad too. I don't know how far their research efforts are conducted, but and he's also got a podcast. It's Phantoms and Monsters Podcast. And Lon is one of those pillars of the paranormal Fortean community. So it's just really, really a great site. I can't recommend it enough. But this first one is from January 13th. It's Pennsylvania couple recently observes Bigfoot on ghost town trails. I already read this one. I never closed it. Let me read the next one if it comes up. Sorry, this is a Skinwalker one. Still the same holds true. It's Phantoms and Monsters, and I like Skinwalker stories. I'm absolutely fascinated with the Skinwalker Ranch.
They're terrifying. Oh.
Yeah, well, the Skinwalkers themselves are definitely a creepy, weird thing, and probably horrible. But I got to say that Skinwalker Ranch has been a fascinating show. I've watched the first season. I'm waiting for the second season to come out on Netflix so I can check that out. But this story is from January 12th. Skinwalker stalks Navajo teens sleeping in old tent. That's tough when it's kids, especially. That's double horrible. Says the Navajo teen is at the family property in New Mexico. He and his cousins are sleeping at night in an old tent when an unknown figure is staring at them. The cousin recognizes it as a skinwalker. Lon says, I recently received the following account. This happened to me when I was 14 years old, and I haven't told anyone about this because we aren't supposed to talk about skinwalkers in my culture. It says, I'm sorry, I just saw the TFR chat move. If you talk about this, they gain an attraction towards you and will focus on you according to our beliefs. I am a Navajo man from Arizona, and I was raised on the res. I somewhat know what they are and know about them. We take them very seriously. If one is seen, and the Navajo police will come out to investigate the area. Well, anyway, I saw one. My family and I live in Arizona, and we occasionally visit family near Farmington, New Mexico. We left early to get there by noon. It was a very long and boring trip there. We get there before noon, and we have time to socialize and talk with our extended family. The younger kids and teens start to play and explore around until dusk. The house is too small for everyone to hang out and sleep in. Some of the kids have to sleep in the trailer and truck camper. My cousins and I stayed in an old, slightly torn tent. It's nighttime around 9 p.m., and all of us get ready for bed. It had been a long day, and we were tired. We were asleep at this point, and for some unknown reason, I wake up. Of course, I'm still tired and rubbing my eyes while yawning, meaning I wasn't aware of my surroundings until once I finish rubbing my eyes, I look at the entrance of the tent and see a figure illuminated by the backlight porch, standing in front of the tent. And at first, I was scared, but thought it was my other cousins just messing with us. As I was thinking this, I thought, why would they go through this much trouble of staying up late to have the off chance of us waking up and seeing them? As this person was standing outside of our tent, looking at us, I turned to one of my other cousins to wake him up and tell him that someone was staring outside of our tent. He tries to brush me off, but I persist. He turns to me and asks what I wanted. I tell him to look at the entrance of the tent, and he does. I've never seen someone go from the brink of sleep to sheer panic that fast before or since. He looks at me with a shocked face, tells me to be quiet. He whispers to me that it's a skinwalker and that we need to be quiet. We lay there for the longest time, and from my memory, this was at least an hour or more. We were just about to go back to sleep because it hadn't done anything. Then it started to walk around the tent at a pace insanely slow that it kept us up. Remember when I said this was an old tent? It had some holes in it. One of the holes was the size of a quarter, and I decided to be brave. As it continued to walk around the tent a fourth time, I slowly crawled towards the hole and tried to take a look. As I did this, my cousin told me to get back to bed or it'll hurt us. Well, I ignored this warning. I'm at the quarter-size hole, looking out to see whatever it was. It comes around to the hole, and what I saw was bone-chilling. I was looking at its lower half and not its face. What I saw were darkened, dirt-covered legs and some kind of makeshift animal pelt. I bolt back and hide under my sleeping bag while my cousin did the same. This thing decided to stop moving and start looking at us again, as if it knew that I saw it and was letting me know. It continued to stand still again at the entrance and just watch us. I hid under the covers, so scared that I believe that I was in shock. Well, I finally fell asleep from sheer exhaustion. I woke up early, maybe around 5 a.m., and decided to look outside the tent to see if there was anything there. I see footprints, bare footprints that send shivers through my body. I saw the footprints move around the tent, and this hit me hard because I was now realizing it wasn't a dream. As I further investigated the footprints, I noticed that it went off toward the rocky hills nearby where we were staying at. I followed the tracks to the hills, about 100 yards away from the house. As I continued to follow the tracks, something strange and frightening happens. It goes from 2 footprints walking for a while to footprints and handprints in the dirt. Found that kind of strange because no person would do that out here. As I followed the tracks further in the hills, the prints started to get smaller and smaller. This is when I started to get scared again. It slowly changed into coyote paw prints. And that is when I stopped and turned back home. First walking fast, and then into a sprint. When I got to the house, I sat down on the back porch for a while and thought about telling my family, but I didn't think they would believe me. In the end, I didn't tell anyone, even the cousin I woke up in the middle of the night. It seemed outlandish and sounded like what a kid would tell to get attention. That's my story. My people take witchcraft very seriously and do our best to not talk about them. Even though I broke this code, I refrain from saying anything out loud. I've had a few other incidents, but this is by far the scariest. By H.M.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's strange. And it's hard to conceptualize something physically transforming. You know?
Yes.
That's the part that's I find that I struggle with. I mean, when you think about it, though, all of this matter that we are, at its fundamental form, is energy. So, is it possible to change the physical by changing the flow or the I don't know, the frequency of energy or what? I just don't know how that can happen, but this is not, a unique story. There are stories like this that are as old as our cultures. So are people witnessing something truly happening and extraordinary? Or is this just carryovers from old superstitions? Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's just superstition. I don't pretend to understand what is going on or how it's happening. It's obviously well beyond my ability to conceptualize. I don't know. But whatever this is, it's very real to the Navajo and other tribes as well. The Navajo aren't the only ones that have a skinwalker legend, but that's the most profound and well known. So I don't know. What do you think, Sheldon? Can something transform fundamentally into another thing?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
The fact that we have lead means things can transform.
Sure. That's true.
From, I believe, does it transform
Radioactive.
from uranium?
I believe
like
so.
over,
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that things can transform absolutely into something else. I mean,
Sure, but
think about it. Start a fire, it can turn into ash.
Yeah.
But as far as like organic things, man, that's
it's a tough one. I don't know.
It's exactly like you said. It's hard to conceptualize.
Yeah.
It's how it is possible. Is it a spiritual thing? Is it a somehow biomechanic thing?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a multi-dimensional kind of energy thing? I mean,
right.
I think it's got to be. I guess I lean more toward the spiritual, energetic side of things,
right?
Personally, because that's the only way I can fathom it.
But what if these aren't really people? Maybe these skinwalkers really aren't people. Maybe they're something else. Maybe they're, you know what I mean? The legend is that they were actually, the oldest legends of them that I've heard is that they were actually the heroes. The skinwalkers were the heroes because they would help fight back the Spanish when they came into the Americas. They fought back they joined the tribes in fighting them back so that they didn't conquer the lands. And they were the heroes. They were the from when is this? I don't remember when this was, but it was something that was extraordinary. But then apparently they became corrupted with their power and wanted more power, and it became dark and horrible, and so I don't know.
I mean, if they are real, they're like on the extinction list type of thing, like a rare species, if anything. If they are not completely spiritual type of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, when I interviewed an author, Cheryl, I can't remember her last name, but she's the author of a couple of books, co-author of a couple of books on Skinwalker Ranch, and that was on the podcast. But she talked to me about some of the security guards she got to talk to that used to work with when Bigelow owned the ranch before the current guy, Brandon. Bigelow owned it and did a bunch of experiments there, and apparently all of that is real kind of closed and hush-hush. Nobody really knows exactly what happened on the ranch, but she talked to a security guard who was with another security guard when they saw a man on top of the mesa, and it was in daytime, and they said they watched this man transform into a wolf and then run away.
Oh.
So what are they?
Basically a skinwalker then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's really no, because when you think about that story specifically, you think that thin sheet of cloth could really keep it out if it wanted to.
No.
That thing could have tore them apart. But I think it was more curiosity than anything.
Well, it's surprising the amount of stories that people see them. Well, I mean, again, we don't hear, maybe even a fraction of the stories because the culture is not to talk about it because that draws it to you, which is, interestingly enough, is also shared in some religious circles that, or spiritual circles, that to name a demon is to summon it to you as well. So you should never name a demon, But conversely, it's interesting that in the rite of exorcism, that part of it is getting the demon to name itself. So there's something in a name, because once it names itself, it seems to weaken its hold. Like it weakens its ability to, dominate that person, because something about having a name is powerful. And if you have the true name of the spirit. So is the same true for Skinwalker, that name can be a powerful thing? And maybe it is. Maybe it's more supernatural than physical, but it seems to be able to manifest convincingly, and even murder, apparently. That's we covered a story not long ago of people that saw a skinwalker near their house, and they made it through it, but found out the next day that one of the neighbors was killed by a skinwalker. And so it was obviously stalking. Was it looking at these children to see if they were what it wanted to take? I don't know. Rachel had said something that scrolled past here.
Rachel said, a metaphysical change in the body. There's legend that say the universe was sung into being. Songs are a frequency. Mm-hmm. If you know the frequency, you can change the song and shape too.
That's an interesting thought. Interesting. It is interesting that sound continues to come up as definitely something that was profoundly utilized in the ancient world. There's legends of Buddhist monks singing to the rocks to make, structures and ornate things and to move heavy objects through these special horns that they would blow. And they were obviously very specifically tuned to, achieve a desired result, to move. And some people have theorized that sound may have been used in the construction of the ancient pyramids and other structures, maybe even Stonehenge.
Yeah, that's what I thought was thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and possibly even move those stones. The quarry where a lot of the granite was mined or shaped was actually 11 hours driving away from the location of the pyramids. So that's a long drive, How did they move these 30, 40, 50 ton blocks or more, all the way that distance and then even erect them into this amazing structures? It's just such a mind melt, all of this stuff. There's no question the ancient world could teach us a lot today. That could teach us so much. Our technology is going a specific direction, but I think we've missed something. I think we've missed something that's perhaps used to be known, and why that knowledge was lost, I don't know. Will it ever turn up again?
Probably fear.
Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was just cataclysms, the ancient floods. Who knows? It's hard to say what exactly happened that kind of rebooted everything, but it is interesting all the same. So that's a great story. Special thanks to Lon. Let's get to the next one here if we can.
Opal Demetria had said that I've heard they're not inherently evil, referring to skinwalkers. Christianity bastardized it, and creepypastas really took off with it. I don't know about sacrificing of the one you love to attain the gift is true or not. Again, we don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I don't know. I mean, again, the foundation of the legends were that they were the heroes. They were the revered warriors that helped to fight back the Spanish and then somehow it got twisted and changed. I don't know that it was the advent of Christianity that made it change. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if the Navajo became aware and were Christianized and that's what changed their mind or what it was. But, were they vilified? Maybe. I don't know. We've certainly covered several stories of people seeing them, but not having them lash out or attack. They just watched and then did their skinwalker thing where they disappeared. Maybe they are more benign. It's incredibly hard to say. I hope so. I hope they are. I mean, it's hard to imagine something being like a literally a demon manifest, that it's so full of hate and scorn. It just wants to just deconstruct anything good around it,
no redemption type of thing. There's none. Yeah. That's hard to believe for me.
Right. Yeah. It's a hard thing to conceptualize. So I don't know. Is that the case for the skinwalkers? Maybe, but, Azazoth plays a flute, created the universe, and life, etc. I know that's just Necronomicon stories, but it's interesting. Yeah. I know there's a version of the Necronomicon out there, but I don't know if it's the true original version, the Legendary Book of the Dead, or the Mad Arab or whatever they called the guy that allegedly wrote it. But yeah, I know there's a version of it out there that's been floating around forever. I think it's, maybe powerful in and of itself, or just the fact that people believe it is makes anything powerful. But yeah, I don't want to read this one. I want more of a cryptid story. I think I got one more. Maybe not. Yeah, here we go. We only got 4 minutes, though. I don't think I can read this in 4 minutes. I think we might have to just continue with just a few more of these stories from the other article. Bleh, spit it out. That I was reading. And then we can have to just close out the show from there. Because I don't have enough time to read another cryptid story. But, if anybody has more information on skinwalkers or knows of any resources, please send them over to me. You can send them to me via email at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. You can go to the email on the paranormalportal.net. I'd like to know more about it. It's just, I've found things throughout the years here and there, but nothing comprehensive. And, especially if you know of anybody that might have knowledge of it that would want to talk, I'd love to talk to them too. So, great possibilities. But strange feelings, going back to this article here, I'm not a long haul trucker, but I drove a moving truck across Nebraska. There's a point where you're going freeway speed, but the scenery doesn't change. It's a very strange sensation, and it seemed to last far too long. I started to freak out at one point because I had the thought that I've always been driving through Nebraska, and I always will be. It's like being stuck in a what is
a
that?
Loop.
Yeah, a loop. But I was thinking of what is the Catholic version of hell now? I can't remember it.
Oh, limbo.
Well, no, that's not the name, but I'm trying to think of the word. Why is that word gone from my head? I think the older I get, the more that happens. It's like, what's that word I was trying to think of? I
almost had it. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Come on.
Purgatory.
Thank you, Wonder Woman. Thank you, Sheldon, too. Did you remember it or did you see it?
I remembered. I didn't even see the chat.
Very good.
Good job, Wonder Woman.
Thank you both. Purgatory. Yeah, like you're just driving through Nebraska forever.
Oh, no.
Here's what looks like a cryptid story. It says, I walk to the side, pitch black. Have a pee. My buddy's just stretching his back or whatever, and I heard something in the woods shake a tree. No other way to describe it. A tree about 30 feet away shook. Then I hear something big crashing through the woods, coming straight for us and the car. We ran straight to the car and locked ourselves in. And then what? We don't know.
Come on. No follow-up.
I've heard that claim, though. I've heard that it may actually piss them off when you pee, because it's like a territorial marker, like you're marking the territory for you.
Oh.
And maybe that's true. Maybe that really does kind of irritate them. Like, What are you being at? This is mine. You know, get out, get off my lawn.
What do you mean it's yours?
Yeah, this ain't yours. I peed there already. It's mine. No, I don't know. Maybe it does.
They see it as a territory challenge,
Right.
type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. If it does or not. I've heard both versions. Here's one more. Oh, actually, we won't even have time for one more. We'll just stop here. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the line. Sheldon, anything quickly?
Absolutely. If you want to join the Discord, get involved with all the discussions, all the questions of the week will be coming at you 3 times a week. Go ahead and join the Discord channel right here in the chat.
There you go. And remember, guys, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. Thank you to all of you who joined us tonight on this journey into the Paranormal Portal. We do these live shows on YouTube. These are not the podcasts. These are the live shows. And we do them Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. If you're looking for the podcast and wouldn't mind helping support that as well, check it out on iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Pandora, Google Play, CastBox, Stitcher, etc., etc., etc. Just any of the platforms where you might hear Sasquatch Chronicles or the Confessionals. Check out the Paranormal Portal. And just remember, we love you bunches. So, all right, that's all we got time for tonight. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Relax, enjoy yourself, kick back, and please spread the word. Share these streams anywhere you want. I'd be honored and thrilled if you did. It would help to make our YouTube presence even a little bigger. So, love you guys, and we'll see you Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, all those nights, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, live shows on YouTube. Monday, new releases to the podcast, but there's a whole back catalog. You can listen to over 300 episodes that are out there on all those platforms I mentioned, and more. So, take care, everybody. Have a great night, and until next time, be good. Be the best.
See you next time.
See you then.
Yes.
Take care, everybody. And roll the credits.
Thank you, Meg.